Enough with embrace debate. Pointless yelling at each other on ESPN and Fox, yet very little actual content. It's time for a change. A voice from the fan, for the fan. The most compelling topics in sports, all covered here. This is Corbet's Corner.
All right, welcome in. It must be MLB opening day if we got a quad box. Dylan Corbett, Matthew Cruz, and the Dalsin twins. Check us out on CorbettSports.com. We'll have all our host page up there. You could see them. Most of these guys on Corbett's Corner, of course, Corbet's as well, the Hall of Famer with us. So let's get into some baseball talk. We're obviously going to touch on Twins, Cubs, Cardinals most of the year. Let's start there with our teams. Let's begin with the Twins. Always a little bit expectations that come with the Twins, but you have to be mitigated with those expectations because you never perform in the postseason. But you got the offense. You've got Kenta Maeda, who lit up spring training after a great debut season. Like he's coming off. I think he was the bright spot of spring training. And I'll start with Ty. What's going on with the offense? I kind of highlighted this. Kepler in a slump, Buxton in a slump, and Andrelton Simmons can't hit since he signed a one-year deal here. Is it just spring training woes, or is this going to translate into April?
Well, I'm hoping it's just spring training woes. The big one there is obviously Andrelton Simmons. He's been right around a 300 batting average kind of guy for the Angels the last few years. So that's definitely alarming seeing him in a slump. Buxton, I mean, he's been a real streaky guy his entire career. So that one doesn't surprise me much. But I'm hoping Boomstick doesn't turn into like the Adam Dunn where it's just either a homer or strikeout. But the big thing here is it's going to be interesting to see how the Twins manage all like their young guys. I mean, a lot of the MLB teams have so many young guys, but Krilikov, there's definitely some bright side filling in. I know I mispronounced his name because I just looked up at the quad box and Cruzen's got a good chuckle on his face. So
I couldn't do much better. What is it, Alex Kirilloff or something?
Yeah, there's no C. You just threw a cough in there.
But what you're alluding to is obviously the poll ads are going to do what most owners and cheap owners doing, which is a smart financial decision. Listen, the rule's rigged, and you got to play to your advantage. But they're going to keep him down until what, mid-May to get an extra year off his free agency.
Right. So, so that's going to be real interesting to see how he ends up performing when he does eventually get his chance to come up. But I'm hoping. I mean, it's going to be with the Twins rotation with Maeda, Barrios. Let's see here. Who else do they got there?
They got Happ listed in the fifth spot, right? And he had a rough spring.
Yeah.
Big Mike Pineda.
Yes.
And Randy Dobnak signing a new contract. He's been fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So no more older guys. Been there for a few years. So getting definitely some new faces in the rotation, and hopefully they can go decently long and keep the teams off the board. I'll be honest, I already punched my ticket on the Twins minus 109 tomorrow in Milwaukee.
Al, I think the White Sox are favored in the AL Central. Twins might be a little juicy kind of second there for plus money. What are you thinking? Is Rocco Baldelli going to come through and win the Central?
I was actually just looking at that just before we jumped on. It looks like the Twins right now actually have a higher chance to make the playoffs, but before it was the White Sox. I think I dropped some with that injury to Eloy Jimenez there. Because, I mean, he's a big part of the White Sox offense. But anyway, I think the Twins, White Sox are going to be neck and neck. It's going to be within, I think, a hand of 5 or less games coming down to who wins that division. As far as the Twins go, I think it really comes down to pitching. If they can get production out of their 3, 4, 5 guy starters and don't have to go to the bullpen, because past history showed the Twins bullpen's been pretty poor. I mean, with Dominic coming out of the bullpen now, maybe that will be a spark and he can be the setup, or not setup, but the long first guy pitching after the pitcher gets yanked, and then we got Rogers and gosh, who was the
Alone.
Oh yeah, Colome who just got signed
Colin.
too.
So, I mean, with those two guys, they're all right. But other than that, maybe Dominic will be someone who can hold a game down.
You brought up a point that is kind of how I'm thinking. I don't know who the hell is going to win the Central because you brought up a good point that there was an injury there, key part of the offense in the outfield for the White Sox. Twins, the offensive woes in spring training scare me a little bit. And then the Royals, who knows? Like they're trying to compete. Matheny's always going to be in some games. You got fucking AJ Hinch in the AL Central now too, as he's manning the Tigers. I think the bottom of the AL Central might be improved this year, and it might turn into a little bit of a mush pit. Matt, how are you seeing? We'll kind of start there with our division predictions. I have no clue. That's my prediction for the AL Central. How do you see it?
I do think it'll be the White Sox and Twins neck and neck. I could see the Royals getting up into third, but I also still think Indians are still going to be good. They still have a rotation. Contrary to these two, I think the Twins pitching is what's going to carry them. They actually had the second best bullpen in the AL last year, so I think it got even better with the addition of Colome. Some other guys, Pineda pitched well after his suspension. I think Barrios finally takes that next step this year. We've been waiting on him to do it for the last 4 years. I'm a little more worried about the hitting, not because of string training. That doesn't worry me, more so like the full 60 games last year plus playoffs when Kepler was not good. Miguel Sano was really bad. Yeah. A huge piece for them, and this hasn't been talked about yet, is Josh Donaldson's health. They signed him to a huge deal, like huge for Minnesota terms. And he was hurt the entire season, like played 3 games, hurt, comes back, plays a game, hurt. He's a big factor. Again, they did with Kirilloff. And that's another thing. They lost Eddie Rosario, who's been the most consistent hitter in their lineup for the last 5 years. Yes, Cruz the last 2. But over the last 5, it's been Rosario, no question. So we'll see how they replace him in left. They did what every owner does, every single team, unless they sign to a deal. Every guy gets sent down. I think it's like 32 or 36 days. The Cubs did it again with Warner, pissing me off. I think the Royals will be a lot better. I think the Tigers will be a little better, but we'll see. I'll take the Twins to come out of the AL Central, though. I think they do.
Yeah. What's the over-under on Twins games we're all going to take in? I was looking. We're going to have to go a lot this summer.
Probably like 10, if I'm being honest. We have to make up for a year's time.
Okay, let's see here. I was looking at the AL East. I wanted to take the Blue Jays. Springer on the IL worries me, and they're still pretty young. I think it's the Yankees, but their injury history, there's something about the injuries, the water in New York, whether it be the Mets or the Yankees, they always have the injury bug. But I do think the Yankees are going to be the top team in the AL. I love Oakland. Matt kind of touched on this in Corbet's when we had Matt Dalsin on. Both of these will debut tomorrow on opening day. I think Bob Melvin's a juicy ticket for AL Manager of the Year. I don't like the Astros. I think the Athletics continue to do what they do so well, which is just kind of patchwork their starting rotation with these lower guys that aren't breaking the bank, but still a formidable rotation that eat innings. Something about Oakland, I think I love Matt Chapman in the hot corner. Matt Olson, I hope he can figure it out. That dude's got like the prettiest swing, but when he has a bad season, he has a bad season. I like Oakland and the Yanks. No clue about the AL Central. I've got the Yankees representing the AL. Such a chalky pick, but sometimes that's how baseball works. We'll go around the Zoom. Ty, how do you see the AL?
AL, I also have the Athletics coming out of the West. That's actually right now my only future that I've placed is the Athletics over their winning percentage. Out of the AL East, I don't know. I got the Yankees, but I think the Rays will be pretty competitive there in the East.
Won it last year.
Yeah, so I think it's going to come down to the Yankees, Rays. So we'll see who ends up winning that one. And then Central, I'm going to go a homer pick. I got the Twinks.
Sure. Al?
Yeah, nothing different from you guys. I like the Astros a little bit more than maybe.
I just want to hate the cheaters. That's kind of my thing on that. I don't want them to be good.
Exactly. I mean, they got some young pitchers in there who kind of showed a little bit of promise last year. I mean, they got McCullers or Quiddy and Christian Javier, who doesn't go deep into games, but the guy's got a pretty respectable whip. And the Athletics, like you're saying, for not a high salary cap or don't spend a lot of money, their guys can really play ball. So I think that one's going to be between those two teams. I don't see any other team out of the West that really giving them a run for their money. And then the East, I just think the Yankees are a little bit better than the other four teams. I think it goes Yankees, Blue Jays, and Rays are 2 steps behind. And then I think the Red Sox are 4 steps behind, and the Orioles are about 15 steps behind them. So,
Matt, wrap us up with the AL and then start us off with your NL Central thoughts.
Yeah, I actually, you guys are not thinking about this team as you should. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are going to win the AL West. Joe Maddon, in his second year at the helm, Shohei Ohtani finally looks like the player that we thought was going to come. Mike Trout said the other day, he goes, you're putting, an all-star hitter in your lineup in the 5 spot and then an ace on the mound every 5th day. People underscore how good he is, but I mean, they have Anthony Rendon. Joe Adele will probably be up there all year. I'm a Madden guy. I think I could surprise some people squeaking into the playoffs, if not win the West. I think it'll be the Yankees and the Jays neck and neck. Rays did what they always do. They trade away their best players, but they're still always good and they're still always competitive. They'll win at least 80 games and they'll be in the mix. I think the Red Sox are going to suck again. I don't think they'll be any better they'll be maybe a little, but I think they're going to be pretty bad again. Go to NL Central. One of the worst teams, if not the worst team in baseball, the Pirates. We know that they're going to be there at the bottom, but then legitimately the other 4 teams could all finish between 80 and 88 wins, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I think I think the Cardinals are going to win the division. They actually added people to their team this year, unlike the Cubs. Let me read you this fucking article I scroll across today. Cubs entered 2021 loaded with talent, questions. Loaded with talent, as if they didn't just trade their best player, Yu Darvish, and as if they didn't just let Kyle Schwarber walk. I mean, what are we doing here? Don't say that shit. Like, they still will be competitive because they still have most of the core, and like Zach Davies will be just fine filling in the rotation. But they completely trade away talent. They wouldn't sign John Lester to a 1-year deal when he wanted to stay for free. They lowballed Anthony Rizzo in recent negotiations, who made it very clear he wanted to be a Cub for the next handful of years. And, they lowballed him. It's just disrespectful. I can't stand the owners. I don't know what's going to happen. I said today to my dad, I was like, the Cubs play up in Minnesota August 31st and 1st. And he said, I will come if Chris Bryant and Javi Baez and Wilson Contreras are all playing elsewhere because they suck and sold at the deadline. So we'll see. Contract year for all those guys I just said, minus Contreras. Either those guys are going to play really well, the Cubs will be good and they'll be fun to watch, and then they'll wish they would have extended them in the previous 3 years, or they'll suck, they'll trade them all, and I'll hate my life. So we'll see.
Is it so you picked the Cardinals? That's shocking enough. I'm about to shock the people too, because I've got the Cubs. You said it. It's the Cardinals adding and the Cubs were subtracting. The Cardinals are a little beat up, and that has me worried. I think it was Michaelis is on the IL. Kim's on the IL. Bader, who I don't even know why he's still on the team. He's somehow slotted as the starting center fielder. Thank God he's on the IL. I don't know. You said it's a mush pit in the NL Central. Brewers are going to steal a couple games. Reds are always a thorn in everybody's side. Is Davies is he opening day tomorrow?
No,
he's not.
Hendricks. Another thing. Okay, I read an article. It was written by The Athletic, and it broke down starting pitchers into tiers. Tier 1 was literally DeGrom and Garrett Cole. Tier 2, like another 3 or 4 guys. 4, 5. Kyle Hendricks was in the 5th tier. He's the most disrespected starting pitcher in baseball. He has been a top 10 starter for the last 6 years, and he will not come on anyone's like top 25 list. Like top 10 is even being generous. It's closer to top 5. He's in categories that it's like Kershaw, DeGrom, Scherzer, and him. It's just because he doesn't throw 100 like everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not just that. I agree with you. The stats speak for itself, but it's like it's like I could almost throw faster than him. He's just kind of tossing it there. 82. I can't throw 82, but no, respect where respect's due. I actually love Davies. I don't know why. I think he's going to be fantastic.
I do too, because he's got a similar profile to Hendricks.
Yes.
Well, they're in the same pitching room, and even Arrieta kind of pitches the same way too.
Arrieta coming back to Chicago.
They have a very unconventional rotation. The day where everyone throws hard, everyone wants velocity, the Cubs are the exact opposite. Their starting rotation, only like 1 or 2 guys will even throw above 90, and 90 is slow. So.
And on Rizzo, I think he goes deep tomorrow. I picked him at DraftKings because he's just gonna. You said it. He's gonna show off. He's like, shit. You're gonna lowball me. I'm gonna show you what you missed out on. Okay, so I like Cubs, Braves. I think that the Cardinals are a playoff team. I'm just worried they're gonna blow it somehow. Injuries don't help. But again, it's the cream of the crop for me. Braves, Cubs, Dodgers. People forget the Braves were up 3-1 over the Dodgers in the NLCS last year. I've got them getting that done this time around. I've got them. That's my future. I think the Braves 14-1. I've got them over the Yankees. That is my prediction. Let's finish out the National League. Ty.
National League. I'm actually going to go right over your shoulder, Dill. I think the Central's won by the Cards.
Dang.
I got the West. No surprise. Everyone's going to have them. The Dodgers. Although I do think San Diego will be very competitive. And we'll steal a couple from them. That's going to be some fun series to watch when San Diego plays the Dodgers. But out east for the NL East, I actually got the Phillies. I think they have so much power on their offense, and now I think Atlanta ends up getting in the wild card, but I think winning the East is going to be the Phillies.
Al, what do you got in the NL?
NL, we'll go with the West. Kind of like Ty said, Dodgers are just too loaded, but I think the Padres could win just about any other division if they were in it. Sorry, not division. What's it called? Whatever bracket of fighting is it division?
It is division. Yeah,
okay, sorry, I was right. I was doubting myself. Yes, I think the Padres could win just about any other division if they weren't in with the Dodgers. As far as the East, going off of you, Dylan, I do like the Braves a lot as well. They got young offensive team there with Acuna and Albies, and they're pitching. I'm pretty high on Ian Anderson there.
Yeah.
He's an absolute blast to watch. I think. And then as far as the Central, yeah, like you guys are saying, out of those 4 teams, besides the Pirates, it's kind of a crapshoot.
You like the Pirates?
I really don't know. It's kind of like you said with the Central. I have no idea where it could go. I'm not even going to say.
I got you. Yeah, that was kind of you plead the fifth there. I did that for the AL Central. Matt, your NL predictions, and then do you have any fun bets? You are the futures king. The only one I took a flyer on Dallas Keuchel, Cy Young AL. I loved what he did with the Braves last year, and I think he can replicate that in a little bit more of a hitter-friendly or a pitcher-friendly park, I should say, there at the Cell, if it's still called the Cell, formerly the Cell. Do you have any juicy futures you have for us and NL thoughts?
Oh, yes, of course. Before I get to those, though, I do think the Dodgers win the division. I don't think they win 100 games, though, this year. That's been a popular future being tossed around in the chat over like 0.62 winning percentage, which would be 101 wins. World Series hangover is real. It's very real. The Cubs won their division the year after, but they only won, I think, 92 or 95 games. I know it was less than the 103 the year they won before. So I'm a little cautious on that because, like you guys are saying, Padres are going to be really good. Padres could beat them around a little bit, you know. Rockies are going to be horrible. Giant, yeah, the other 3 teams are pretty.
I think the D-backs got terrible.
And the Giants are terrible, and the Rockies are terrible. So they do have that going for them. But other than that, I think they might win the division, but I think the Padres sneak by them in the playoffs. I'm kind of with you as well with the Braves winning the East, not making a wild card, and probably representing the NL in the World Series. A very interesting team is the Mets. We'll see. I'm not sure. Is the pitching there? They have DeGrom. They have Stroman. They have Syndergaard coming back from Tommy John, but he's not healthy yet.
Stroman back from a year off.
Yeah, Stroman. So we'll see. Getting into the future. Getting into the futures though, that is a super interesting division because, frankly, they're all pretty good, and I think the least valued team by far is Miami Marlins. I have them over their winning percentage. It is 0.45, so I need 73 wins or more. I have that. I have the Astros under their win percentage at 54%, so under 88 wins. Blue Jays over 54, so over 88 wins. It's very unlikely though that anyone plays 162 this year. I'm not sure how they'll be with makeups like they were last year and stuff like that. That'll be interesting to see. We already have a COVID outbreak to start, but not an outbreak, just 1 or 5 guys. So we'll see. I guess as guys get vaccinated throughout the year,
hopefully it gets
probably
better.
Less.
Yeah.
Last two, I have the Nationals over 84, 83.5. Pirates under 59.5. I went 2 manager of the years. I actually think these values can be there because manager of the year is actually a little bit more predictable than you think. Like, it's whoever's going to be a playoff team, so top 4 team. And frankly, it's like a newer team with maybe a newer manager. It was Rocco Baldelli. It was Mike Schilt. It was, guys like that. It's not Dave Rogers 7 years in a row when he wins 100 games. So on that note, I have Charlie Montoyo, the Blue Jays manager, and I have Jace Tingler, the Padres manager. Montoyo's plus 700. Tingler is plus 800. I like both of those. And then I went 2 MVPs. I went my boy Juan Soto in the NL at plus 750. And then a value play here because in the AL it was Trout and then plus 200 and then everybody else. But Trout doesn't win the MVP every year. It was Jose Abreu last year. So I went Gleyber Torres with a bounce back here at plus 2,500. So 25 to 1. He's going to be an anchor and probably the best lineup in the American League. So if he hits 40 bombs and drives in 100 or so, he'll be right there in the mix. Because the people around him. Yankees are going to have the best lineup of all time on opening day. It'll be Stanton and Judge and LeMahieu, who hits 400, and Torres and Gary Sanchez hitting 9. A week later, you won't know 5 guys in it.
If they don't go, exactly, because of the injuries, if they don't go to at least the World Series, I think there's going to be some serious questions there for Aaron Boone.
They are my pick. I feel for some reason last year it was chalky with the Dodgers. I have a feeling it's going to be Yankees again, so that's my pick. I'll go Yankees over the Padres.
Okay, I got Braves over Yankees for me. Final thoughts from Ty Dalsin, Al Dalsin for a little World Series prediction here on Corbett's Corner.
Ty, let it rip, man.
I appreciate it, Al. I'll go Yankees over the Dodgers.
Oh, that.
I
think that's your cue, Al.
Yeah. As far as World Series, I think it's actually going to be I like the Dodgers over the White Sox.
Ooh, I like it. How about that? Tony La Russa, 76-year-old Tony La Russa, in his first year back, he's leading the White Sox. That's going to be interesting to see fold out. Opening day, we're jacked up. We got the quad box for you here on Corbett's Corner. The Dalsin twins, Matt Cruzen. I'm Dylan Corbett. Check us out on CorbettSports.com. Follow us wherever you enjoy your social media, podcasts, etc., YouTube. We appreciate you, the listener, and we'll talk to you later this week.